This is a Pele Media podcast.
Welcome back to Jurassic Park Minute. Jurassic Park Minute is the fan podcast that chronicles and overanalyzes the classic 1993 film Jurassic Park minute by minute. I almost missed the date there.
I know. Were you going to say 1984?
No, I was going to say 1984
Yeah.
because, I'm Kyle, first of all.
Yeah, I'm Brady.
And, we finished Ghostbusters Minute a couple of weeks ago, but it is very hard to break the habit of saying
Yeah.
the year of the film.
Well, I'm wondering if an episode has gone by now where you do say the classic 1984 film Jurassic Park.
And we just both miss it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Probably happened multiple times.
I think what's going to happen is when that is edited, you will probably hear my pitch change because we had to pull a 1993 from another episode.
Yeah.
The classic 1993 episode film Jurassic Park. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty awesome as well. This is a minute where there is a lot of silence on screen and a lot going on in framing of shots and the action that's happening on scenes, kind of telling the story here, as opposed to characters getting down and talking to you about evolution philosophy and chaotician theory and stuff like, or chaos theory and stuff like that.
Characters
But
getting down.
getting down, yeah.
One of the things I really admire about this film is its silence. It's just long moments of just eerie, unnerving silence when they're outside of the T-Rex paddock for the first time, and they're just sitting there listening to the buzz of the fences and looking at the goat and everything. There's just all these moments of silence. But I tell you what, one moment that is not silent, that always gets my attention, is that raptor roar when we cut to the raptor pen.
Yeah, and speaking of cutting to the raptor pen, you want to go ahead and take care of this week's breakdown? Today's breakdown?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. In the previous minute, Dr. Ian Malcolm told John Hammond and Dr. Wu that their plan would not work and that life would find a way to make the dinosaurs breed. At the end of the minute, Grant's fears were confirmed by Dr. Wu's statement that they were in fact breeding raptors on the island. At minute number 32, Grant is still stroking the chin of the newborn baby raptor. At 32:01, we smash cut to a shot of the raptor pen where several guards are keeping watch over the animals. As we cut, we hear a raptor screeching. As Dr. Grant stands at a distance from the pen, John Hammond runs up to him, telling him that lunch has been prepared for him before he heads into the park. As Hammond tells Grant about the lunch prepared by Alejandro, Grant asks what the guards are doing. At 32:13, we cut to a shot of a bull being raised in the air by a harness. At 32:20, John Hammond whimsically tells Grant that they are feeding the raptors. At 32:25, Hammond goes on to tell Grant that Alejandro has prepared Chilean sea bass. Grant is not interested in sea bass and instead watches the cow being lowered into the enclosed pit. At 32:42, Grant and the rest of the group run up the stairs to see the cow lowered. The cow slowly disappears into foliage. As the cow vanishes, the sound of animals moving around can be heard. The foliage shakes around violently as the raptors pounce on the cow. Screeching and mooing can be heard. And thus ends minute number 32 of Jurassic Park. So, Brady, do you want some steak?
Well, yeah.
After watching this, does it make you want to eat a big, fat, juicy steak, watching this cow get lowered into the pen?
Well, no.
No.
Yeah, no, it's... I remember when I saw the film for the first time, just this massive cow being lowered in and thinking like, oh God, it's so terrible. And then when the thing comes up in a few minutes, just covered in blood, it's a great laugh.
Yeah.
But it's also just so, Ellie's expression when we cut to her plate being put in front of her is just, spot on.
Spielberg does that in a lot of his films. He kind of has this savagery in setting up stuff, that something's about to happen, or there's kind of I don't even know if I want to call it a joke in the shot of that thing coming up broken. It reminds me of the guy's leg of Jaws that's like floating down to the bottom. It's kind of like this very stark realization of the natural horror of something that just happened.
It kind of echoes Hitchcock in a way. Hitchcock used to do that a lot.
Yeah. You see a lot of little Hitchcockian things in this movie, like we talked about in the previous minute where Grant is holding the baby raptor, asking Dr. Wu what species this is. And it's a very kind of like long delayed, you get half shadow on his face. It's very kind of Hitchcockian setup to something. So, but yeah, in this minute, so like I said before we started talking about it, there's just a lot of framing and a shot setup. But let's talk about this bull for a minute because we get a great shot underneath of it getting raised up when Grant asks, what are they doing? And then you cut to this bull getting raised, and there's like kind of a long shot. And then, we cut back to Hammond going, oh, I'm feeding them.
Yeah.
And then there's this really cool, like, low-angle shot where Hammond and Grant are, like, standing tall, and you just see the cow getting smaller and smaller. It's just being lifted into the air.
It's a big cow.
The only way I think that they could have shot that is the two of them must have been standing on some sort of raised platform. The camera pretty deep underneath them, and the cow had to be way high up in the air for all it to happen. If you put a cow that high above me, I'm going to be very, very worried that thing is just going to poop everywhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, actually, because, we do some pretty extensive research for this show. And I tried to find out whatever happened to the cow.
Yeah.
The actor cow, and I couldn't find anything.
It was probably from a local farm in Hawaii or something like that there. But yeah, and speaking of which, beautiful scenery in this shot. When we smash cut to the raptor cage or the paddock, it's there, and you see this like beautiful mountain in the background. You know?
Well, real quick, do you think animals in movies have agents?
Yeah, actually, I kind of think that they do. I think there's like there's definitely somebody there making sure the animal is not hurt.
Yeah.
They have agents through ASPCA or something like that. But they're there watching to make sure that no harm comes to the animal. So that cow was safe the whole time, I'm sure. But how much did the cow get paid? I don't know.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was my real question.
How much did the monkey from Monkey Shines get paid?
Right.
Right.
I've been wondering that my whole life.
Yeah, I hope it has good representation. So then we cut to another shot in a second when the cow is getting lowered into the paddock. We get like kind of an above shot. And I was looking at the way that grid of cage is built above the foliage to keep the raptors in there. And it's kind of got a really interesting like interlocking system. It looks like there's some electrified wires and then some actual metal parts that are pulled back in. It looks like the wire retracts as it pulls in.
Yeah.
See the cow get lowered in, but then there's a shot from actually inside of the raptor paddock. And I think I really love this shot because it's directly up at the cow's belly as it's going into the cage. It's a really cool shot. But
yeah. No, that is a cool one. So we've got some really cool editing going on here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we've heard multiple times in the movie so far that raptors are these things to be respected and feared, and Grant specifically has just a huge respect and fear for the animal. So we've seen in the last couple of seconds before this where he picks up the baby raptor and he's like, what species is this? Not wanting to hear raptor. And then he does. We've got the eerie music. We've got the eerie lighting on him. We move in on the baby raptor, and it's just, we're setting up for something really eerie. We immediately cut to the place where it all started, where we saw what these raptors are capable of and will do. And so I think that's a really cool cut. It's like, here's this thing. It's really dangerous. We know that. And then boom, right back to where we started. Yeah.
No, and there's one of the things I love is we hear that sound that we heard at the very beginning of the movie where the raptor screeched, and ate the gatekeeper. But you don't see the raptors here. You just see the stuff moving around. You see the palm fronds or whatever moving around.
This is a Jaws moment.
Yeah, it's a very Jaws moment. Yeah. And you don't need to. We're scared enough as is to see that cow get lowered in there, and we know what's going on. We don't need to see it. It's much scarier just to see this stuff knock around. But yeah, it's very much a Jaws moment because we don't see a raptor again for a very long time. What is the first time we actually see a raptor in full form in the movie? Is it when the raptor goes into the kitchen later on? Or is Ellie confronted by a raptor first?
She's confronted by a raptor, but unless I'm just totally forgetting something, the first time that you see a full raptor is in the kitchen.
Okay.
I'm sure we're missing something there, but yeah, I believe that's when it happens.
Yeah. So we go a long time. Now we did see a raptor in the previous scene, but we don't see an adult raptor for a very, very long time in this movie. We hear a lot about them. Velociraptors mentioned over and over. We've seen a velociraptor skeleton. Grant has told us how they attack. This is just further foreshadowing, and it really pays off. We spent a long time getting ready to see these raptors, but they're really only there for the end of the movie. They're in the kitchen scene, the scene where they're in the shed to try to turn the electricity back on. They are in the computer room, and then the Tyrannosaurus comes in and eats them. Spoiler alert, but you really don't have a lot of scenes with raptors, which is funny considering how big of a thing they were when this movie came out.
And yet, I've never thought of that. Because they're so ever present in our mind. And, Muldoon is the only guy in this whole team who knew what the hell he was talking about. But later when the fences are all going down and he jumps in and he's like, the raptor fences are not, are they? That's the first thing he is worried about.
Yeah.
So you're constantly getting these little things that just remind you raptors are here and they're the things to really be feared, more so than the T-Rex.
Yeah. So much set up in this movie for those raptors to show up. So it's very well done. And this is one of my favorite parts of the whole raptor introduction is just seeing the bushes move so fast, seeing the trees move so fast. And you kind of see oh, wow, these things are really capable of something else. Yeah. We don't need to see it. We know what's going on.
So in terms of sound effects, for the raptors, when they were shooting this, obviously they didn't have any of the sound effects on set. So Spielberg thought he might be able to help the actors, which he didn't. If he got a balloon or something and started letting the air out of the balloon, or he had a plastic bag or something, and he's making all these sounds with his mouth into a bullhorn. And one of the behind-the-scenes documentaries that's come out over the years has footage of him doing this, and the actors are all trying to just keep it in and not crack up. I don't know. It's a funny moment.
Yeah. So do you like Chilean sea bass?
I've never had it.
You've never had Chilean sea bass? Tsunami, the sushi place downtown that you and I go to, it has amazing Chilean sea bass. I don't even eat the sushi there because every time I go, I'm like, I love Chilean sea bass. Chilean sea bass is it's this really, really, really tender cut of fish that is just You don't need a knife at all. You just kind of press your fork against it and it just slides apart.
Really?
And they usually put kind of a sweet glaze on top of it. It's delicious and capers. I know you're looking
I'm
at your
checking my
watch right now.
Yeah, I don't know what time Tsunami closes.
Look, I know you have an infinite number of people you can call who would meet you at Tsunami right now and go to dinner with you.
True.
I've already eaten. I had ceviche, but
I got this bowl of ice cream right next to me, but
that's
that
true.
ain't
You've
gonna
already
stop
eaten.
me.
So anyway, but one of the cool things about Chilean sea bass is it is the food that giant squid eat.
Okay.
Whenever people find giant squid in their net that they haul up, it's usually off the coast of Chile.
Oh, wow.
When they're fishing for Chilean sea bass. But if you ever get the chance, it's a little bit more expensive. It's usually like a $20, $24 plate, something that's totally worth it. Chilean sea bass is one of my favorite things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite things about Jurassic World was the just minute, small, detailed references in their viral marketing to the first film. And one of them was, so on their main street, there's a restaurant called Winston's, which is actually named after Stan Winston. And if you look real carefully at the menu in there, there's Chilean sea bass.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, all this talk about Chilean sea bass.
I know.
I'm pretty hungry.
Let's get out of here.
I've already eaten, but I want to have a second dinner. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and get out of here. But again, real quick, let's talk just for a second about your new show that's coming out pretty soon.
That's right. We'll mention it again. Goonies Minute coming up on December 12th.
Yeah.
And we have been doing extensive research, really getting a better perspective on that film. And I cannot wait to start recording, breaking it down minute by minute, and getting it out there to our listeners. Goonies is it's my classic in every sense. A lot of people from our generation grew up, with Spielberg movies specifically, and he was constantly giving us things in this kind of Amblin style, which you're now seeing echoed in Stranger Things to a great degree. Super 8 was even doing it. And it's those are throwbacks to movies like E.T. and Goonies that were just kids going on these adventures. But I don't know, being able to look at this film with adult eyes, I'm seeing that there's so many more layers to it than just the children's adventure. We're talking about foreclosures, and we're talking about these really heavy adult issues that are there that were affecting us when we were watching it as children. We didn't even know it. So now I'm able to kind of see that stuff, and I don't know. I can't wait to examine both sides of it from a child's perspective and an adult's perspective.
Awesome.
It's such a fun movie.
Well, we're really looking forward to that. That's going to be out on December 12th. So not next Monday after that. Tomorrow's going to be the 1st. So in less than 2 weeks, we got a new show coming out.
That's right.
Pele Media family is extending itself. So yeah, we're going to have some news coming out about the Goonies Minute as the weeks go on here. So we really hope that you guys can check that out. Actually, I think the feed, you can already subscribe to it over on iTunes.
That's
so
right. Yeah,
on
iTunes. And we've got a Facebook page up. We've got GooniesMinute.com.
Yeah.
So you can go there, just Twitter, I don't know, stay in touch, and we'll be dropping little goodies the closer we get.
Awesome. Well, tomorrow we're going to have minute number 33 of Jurassic Park, so check that out first, and then get ready for Goonies Minute, because that's on the way, folks. All right, we're going to get out of here and go have a big ol' heaping helping of Chilean sea bass.
Yeah, that's it.
And, All right, folks, well, I'm Kyle.
I'm ready.
And until next time, hold on to your butts.
Jurassic Park Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the podcast, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can contact us at JurassicParkMinute@gmail.com and visit us online at JurassicParkMinute.com, Facebook.com/JurassicParkMinute, and Twitter.com/JurassicMinute. You've been listening to a Pele Media podcast. For premium content and exclusive podcasts, visit us at patreon.com/PeleMedia. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/PeleMedia and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/PeleMedia.